Meow meow. Meow meow. What's up guys? Meow meow meow.
What is thine will? My true masters disagree.
This is right.
True chaos awaits.
Meow meow.
Them.
Anyway, I think I gotta get a replacement magazine for my freaking KGW MK1. And then tomorrow I'm gonna do my groceries and then my laundry. Man, I don't know what the future holds. Right now I'm feeling uncertain, but I don't really feel afraid right now. You know, unlike before when I would really feel afraid.
The first. Good progress.
Anyway, yeah. And then I think I'm gonna bring something, yeah. I might get a replacement capacitor for one of my spare motherboards. Good thing I got here first, before one of my vassals. If not, this faction would have been destroyed permanently. Meow meow meow.
Reckon I'll take your head off in one bite.
I wonder if they have other settlements.
War drives progress.
Call me master. Harold Hamash, I am living history. The Dark Omen. The Four Token.
Excuse me.
Good. Now we see.
You know what they told me? One of my schoolmates told me before, don't live in fear. But you know, I can't help it. I can't help but live in fear.
The first damned when I am ready. The Dark Master.
You know, I first saw them from somewhere. Yeah,
My name is Baba Ang Merong My Hand Chino. What's your name, sir?
My name is Nyanyo Pokre Botna Abamu Emba.
Thank you. Gang, 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 gang. That's good.
the fake.
Love that mate. Free beer, please, Snake. You got to come for Snake with free beer. You can come only for free beer. Next time you see Snake, you don't let them go. I'm serious. What better than it, my friend? I can't believe we got this snake, my friend. We wait for so long. And look at it, we can eating good today, my friend. From the head to the bottom. From my finger right here. Yeah, like that. That's it. That's it, you don't need to.
44 inches. Almost 4 feet, guys.
Yeah.
That's how long.
44. How long is that CM? Anyway, you know. I was thinking about it earlier, you know, it's gonna be another month, and then, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, yeah, I don't know, I'm really just distracting myself, and instead of laying in bed,
Lord of Torment.
I'd rather playing games.
I shall scar you. You will serve me.
You know, I actually woke up last night. I thought I had work. Lol.
I wait.
I woke up last night and I think, you know, during that time my shift would have started. So I was like, I don't know. Oh no, it shouldn't have started yet. But you know, I thought I had work for, you know, I think several seconds. And then I remembered, oh yes, Wesley. I actually remembered one of my coworkers telling me, you know, that the rest day. I can't remember if they said happy weekend or something. That's the only time I remembered.
Death to undeath!
Anyway, you know, I cook spaghetti. And of course I've been buying food all week. And yeah, it's a good thing I haven't bought anything very expensive. You know, all my purchases were acceptable. Nothing too much. But as for the future, I don't know.
Dark omen.
I don't know. I have no idea. And yeah. But no, yeah. I don't know if I'm gonna be. I don't wanna be fearful. It's not gonna help. Being fearful has never helped me. Ever. Right now, I just wanna get water. Hold on a minute.
All goes to plan.
Absolutely not.
There is no escape from the Dark Master.
What I can't... Why can't I,
Four token.
subjugate them?
The Dark Master.
Pretty scared.
Yes, my lord.
Oh no, I don't know. Can't stay fearful forever.
Over this land.
And whatever happens, I've had it coming, and yeah.
Lick spittles approach me thinking they're in control. But cease.
The first. I serve the raven.
Frick, I made the wrong decision. I made Siege. No, I made Lord of Metal. So I'm gonna let him go.
Please, God, I will be your burden. Spread the darkness.
The real deal.
Oh no. I'm tryharding this guy's the real deal.
What's up guys and welcome to the Real Deal Airsoft. I'm Jake and in this episode you're going to learn exactly how to build a DSG, a very reliable one at that. And we're going to be using an SHS or Rocket DSG, dual sector gear, and these are available on www.therealdealairsoft.com. Pick one up, we'll get it shipped out to you the same day. You heard? And yeah, without any further ado, let's get right into the parts list.
Harbinger.
Well, what spring did he use?
And yeah, let's get right into the parts list. Alright guys, usually everything you need to do to build a very reliable DSG to check for your build. And the parts included is going to be this 30K Starway motor with Neo magnets, really beautiful motor. We're going to go with Zoom View 228K wheel set, coupled with an SHS dual sector gear. These are available on www.therealdealairsoft.com. You get them shipped out to you the same day, so order them while they're still in stock. And as well, we're going to be using the trigger with the 4-stroke. For the electronics, we're going to be using a Tyron V2 optical. We already have the sticker set for that. A Rocket Airsoft, which is basically SHS OEM M16 Extreme, which are also available on the website. And as well, a Rocket Airsoft, which is basically SHS OEM M16 Extreme, which are also
160.
available on the website. As well, the Insidious Army Guide to the Spacer, all available on the website. A Rocket,
The Fort.
daily corrective systems. All these parts are available on the website, so go check it out while it's in stock. And yeah,
Destroy. Serve me well. I am mighty.
Do not waste my time with petty...
We're going to move into modifying certain parts of the gearbox.
How dare you presume to gaze upon the ice queen?
Compatible or ready for the The real answer is number one.
The first.
We're going to pull a second coil to go to shorten the spring tension. This way to keep up with the high cycle rate and high feeding. Every time the second cycle pulls back, and the spring points forward to feed the next
Maker.
have to modify this or correctly in a gear complexity, as well as the passive system. We're going to have to trim it down so that the passive plate releases fully, and the way we're going to be modifying it is so that it releases before the last tooth releases the piston, meaning that the passive plate gets released
Dead Slayer!
before the piston is released. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to be filing this thing down. We're going to see. We're going to measure it. It's roughly around 11 to 12 millimeters worth. But as we go in the gearbox, we're going to see exactly what to do. Alright boys, just got done shimming the bevel gear with the motor. I just want to show you what the perfect shimming sounds like. You want to hear the clicking between the bevel gear and the pinions, so you'll hear that now. At least I hope you'll hear it. That's the gear, the teeth like hitting each other. And if you couldn't even hear that click at all and it was so tight, you have to remove a shim from the top and bring it to the bottom. That's all that means. It means that the teeth were too close to the bevel. Alright, before I move on, I always measure with my calipers the amount of shims I have in case when I'm putting the spring back in this non-quick change spring gearbox and the shims go flying, I'll know exactly like what's up. So I'm just going to measure with the caliper how many shims is required for the top and the bottom. So 0.6 shims for the bottom. Write that down. And we're going to fill it in for each so that we will always know. That's the real deal. I got another quick tip for you guys.
No freaking way.
If you ever have an issue with screws and stuff like that and they're falling, rub your screwdriver on your motor and that will magnetize your screwdriver. Alright, the gears have been shimmed. Alright boys, I'm about to show you the magic
Abracadabra?
about DSG. The real secrets that no one knows, alright? The tappet plate modification. This is what you gotta be looking at. And the whole idea is to have the tappet plate released and go forward before the piston gets released. So right now with the current setup, it would still be holding the tappet plate, right? And the piston is already released, but you see how it's still being held? That's not good. That means that nothing happened. You just blew air out the barrel. Congrats. You're the best. You could give the best blow jobs. Wow. Alright, so what we have to do is this. Alright, we're reset. Boom, we're pulling it back. Alright. And you see how that angle of engagement is so important right there? That mod right there. So that it never scrapes that tooth. But whatever. Alright, so we're pulling it back, we're pulling it back. And we want to pay attention to the last tooth. And the last tooth is about to release. See, right here, I would cut the plate. Right here, the tappet plate needs to be released. The piston...
I make it even shorter. Even for full gears.
is about to be set off. It's on the last tooth, about the 1130 position. And what we need to cut, basically, we need to cut off right here. Making that line on the grease just enough so that now, if this material wasn't here, this would shoot forward, loading the BB, creating that air seal before the piston gets released. So that's the secret to modifying the tappet plate. You heard! I'm just saying, angle of engagement is so important in airsoft, and that's what we specialize in on all the products on the realdealairsoft.com. So we're going to modify this tappet plate as well as the tappet plate spring. It's pretty simple enough. We just need to pull the coil down. That's about it. And then we'll be ready for the install. Alright guys, post modification. As you can see, it's a lot shorter. We got it down to 13 mils. For some reason, 13's been working great on all my builds, so 13 millimeters. And we're going to analyze what's going on right now. So let's see. Right, still holding on. Tappet plate still being pulled back. Still being pulled back. Boom. Released. It's feeding, and this is at the 1130 position. It's on the last tooth. Alright, because it's still pulling it back. And it releases. Alright. Tappet plate releases before piston. We're good. Alright boys, hopefully the light doesn't mess with the sensors, but we're going to test the DSG for the first time. Put it in semi. I gotta plug it into a battery, that would definitely help. Wow, the customer got shook.
Brrrt.
Alright guys, that pretty much wraps up the build. Now you know a DSG, and like I said before guys, if you want to grab one of these, head over to the website. We'll get it shipped out to you ASAP, www.therealdealairsoft.com. And for all you guys that haven't been part of the fam, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can stay updated on the latest airsoft tech, tips, and how-tos. Until next time, see you on the field.
The real deal.
Man, I wanna listen to music right now, but I cannot. ARP 55.
Work is a pain in the apps. My files are in this app. My chat's in this app.
9,000.
The real deal.
What's up inside, but it's not working right now. But if that doesn't work, we're gonna throw a gate aster. And we're doing the full overhaul, so we're throwing in gears, cylinder head, piston head. We're going with some ASG Ultimate ceramic bearing, steel ball bearing guide plug. We may or may not use this depending on the angle of engagement. You already know the 22 TPA CZI high torque motor, and my piston of choice, the 14 tooth high speed piston. We're going to be epoxying the steel tooth rack, and yeah, so this is going to be an exciting build, and we're going to walk you through the steps one by one. So let's get to opening this. Voila. As I took this thing apart, I noticed that the nozzle is jammed back and there's no play. That's not a good sign. This airsoft gun wasn't firing. I'm going to open it up and I'm going to take a look. But guys, check out this Mad Max hop-up unit with the tracer unit. Really cool stuff. Alright guys, we got to the gearbox. One thing I noticed is that usually I open the gearbox from this side, but the screws are on this side. Alright. We're going to open up the gearbox, no quick change spring system, prepare your wrist. Alright guys, this is the inside of the gearbox. We're going to get to changing out all the gears and shimming the motor height and the gear height, so let's get to that. Alright guys, we're going to be throwing in some SHS gears, new bushings, and the motor height. So once all these things are inside the airsoft gun and they've been shimmed, we'll get right back to it. Alright, we just epoxied the new bearings in, because they weren't a tight fit, so we had to put some epoxy. And
meow meow.
Now they're in there like swimwear, you heard, and we're gonna get to all the shimming and the gears and all that stuff. Alright guys, so now we're getting to setting the motor height. Alright, so the motor height inside there is pretty low, and we're also seeing how much play I need to shim the bottom bevel. So once we get all those specs figured out, the AOE for the beveled pinion will be perfect. It's a little bit low, it definitely needs to be a little bit higher. Alright, so we're going to fix that angle of engagement, and once the bevel is shimmed, then I'm going to shim everything else off of it. Alright guys, we just shimmed the top of the bevel gear. Now we're going to go to the sector gear. This is exactly what you want to see, man. This is a good shim, spinning for days. Alright. Alright guys, we just got
Hell yeah.
done shimming the gearbox. Way too popular. Alright guys, I just assembled this new compression system. We epoxied this whole steel tooth rack. And let's test out the compression with this Mad Max cylinder head. That's perfect air seal. Literally can't even budge it. Literally can't. Alright, so we're gonna rock with this. This is a beautiful setup. Alright guys, so as you can see here, the angle of...
Yes, I love that. Excuse me. I love how it protrudes down. You know, the cheap ones I got online do not. You know, I've shown it.
Engagement is relatively like perfect. This is with the piston in the most forward position, right? So if I were to install a servo pad, this angle of engagement would be a little bit too far back, but with the piston in the most front position, we have the perfect angle of engagement right there. Yeah, perfect.
Yes. Woo!
Alright guys, let me bring you to a little update. We ran into an issue with this, with the gearbox. The optical MOSFET that we're running, the Peru MOSFET, it is not firing, but upon arrival when we got the AEG, it wasn't shooting. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to take a pause, we're going to have to go pick up a gate Aster MOSFET, and we're going to throw it in. So that's what we're going to do, and that's where we're at right now in the process. So basically all the internals is put inside, everything's been shimmed, motor height's been adjusted, everything's installed. Just the one thing we have to do is now we have to take out that optical MOSFET, and we're going to be putting in the gate Aster. So stay tuned for that, guys. Alright guys, let me give you an update on the MOSFET situation. So we had to take out the Peru MOSFET. Alright, and we put in the gate Aster. We did all the modifications necessary to the gearbox, onto the selector plate, all that good stuff. So we're going to go ahead and throw the gears, close it up, program it, and test it. So we finally got around to the programming, and everything's good. Let's see the trigger. Pretty sensitive, man. This Mad Max is working great with the Aster. I was a little bit nervous about it, but it seems like everything's okay. Let's check the diagnostics and see if there are any issues. So all we have to select the program. No, there's no issues. Trigger, select this program, no issues with that. I'm going to move the plate. Alright, let's put the airsoft gun back together, and I'm curious to see this G&G ARP9's final result. Let's see it. Alright, real dealer, so we assembled the lower receiver, and let's see how the Mad Max trigger works with the gate Aster. Let's check it out. After this, we'll do the chrono.
And I'm guessing the screeching noise is like almost unnoticeable in real life. I mean, I'm pretty sure these people do it better than I do. So, yeah. The dust cover opened on its own. Yeah. That doesn't usually happen with AEGs.
I shall scar you. Suck it. The 4 token. Shadows coil.
Anyway, what do you guys want to talk about? I'm gonna try not to spend too much when I go out. I think I wanna go out later. And no, I cannot manage or afford to spend too much because you guys know I'm gonna be out of work by the end of the month. Yeah, come April 1, I'm gonna be out of work.
Alright guys, we're going to be chronoing with 0.2 BBs and a 26 milliamp 11.1 Li-ion battery. Alright guys, so that pretty much wraps up this custom G&G ARP9 build. I'm pleasantly happy with the trigger response.
What do you mean, oh wow? You guys, I've been telling you guys since, January. I've actually, I don't know if you were here, but I've actually sent my resignation. No, I resigned. I don't have to be transferred to another department. Yeah, man. I think I'm gonna.
Northman come.
I do hope that the government agency hires me. If not, I'm gonna be back on tech support or customer service.
Follow me.
Man. See, my life kinda sucks because I made it this way.
It is mine now.
Be sure to check out the description below for the entire parts list. The only thing stock in here, I think, is the anti-reversal latch and the tappet plate. That's about it. So if you have any questions on how to achieve... Alright, let's put the...
What cylinder did you use?
After this, we'll do the...
I think he also used an SHS nozzle.
Alright guys, let me bring... This is with the piston steel tooth rack, and let's test out his new compression system. We epoxied this whole steel tooth rack, and let's test out the compression with this Mad Max cylinder head. That's perfect air seal. Literally can't even budge it. Literally.
Don't worry, I haven't been drinking or smoking, so yeah, I have some money. Unlike before when, back during the pandemic, I just like to share. I was out of work during the pandemic, I was using my life savings to buy cigarettes and liquor. Can you imagine that?
Really can't. Alright, so we're gonna rock with this. This is a beautiful setup. Alright guys, so as you can see here, the angle of engagement is relatively perfect. This is with the piston in the most forward position. Right? So if I were to install a servo pad, this angle of engagement would be a little bit too far back. But with the piston in the most front position, we have the perfect angle of engagement, right?
Yeah. The time has come. You've known me even way back before I was in this current company. Yeah. I think things will turn out well still. Well, if not, whatever.
God Maker. The first.
It's me.
Even beasts.
Call me master. Obviously, do not push me.
Yeah, I'm gonna get some water. Meow 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 meow.
The first damned.
You know, I was drinking my glass of water while I was coming back, so I'm all out again. Lol. Meow 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 meow. Meow 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 meow. And let the sun rain down on me. I'm just littering portals all over the map. It's like having a tunnel network.
I will hear you now.
Say what you mean, tell me I'm right, and let the sun rain down on me.
Lord of Shadows.
Let's go play with, let's go play Genshin Impact. My waifu simulator. And let the sun rain down on me. Give me a sign, I wanna believe. And I think I'm gonna do stuff later, so you know me, I like to do stuff, craft and stuff, just to keep myself busy. No, maybe I'll do my laundry today, I don't know. Instead of like playing games, I should have done that. And I wouldn't have the time or the will to go out anymore. I don't even wanna eat my comfort food, you know, chowking. Even if I remember the taste, even if, I don't know. Right, sorry. Right now I'm thinking about going back to like refurbishing PCs. Buy to refurbish and sell. But I don't know. You know, the difference is right now I have money. You know, back when I started recovering, I didn't have any money. I was broke as fuck. Like, back in 2023.
Final warning!
And when did you first find my channel? Was that late 2024? So, you know, I think you discovered my channel back when I was already been recovering for almost 2 years. Excuse me. Yes, almost 2 years. Maybe 2.5 or 2 and 3/4. 2.75 years. Oh wait, two or one. I mean 1.5 or 1 3/4 of a year. And imagine, I have still been very toxic. You know, I refuse to forgive some people. You know, I still act as if I'm okay with them, but I never was. Yeah, I gotta acknowledge the fact that, you know, I still haven't forgiven some people, and you know what's hard is that they're still the same. They haven't changed. You know, I really cannot. Yeah, I'm not mature enough to like not be annoyed or affected by them.
Nice and spicy! Drop your weapons! Justice will prevent!
And you know, I'm pretty sure that even people who had no anger issues or no drinking problem, I'm pretty sure that they also have people they cannot forgive. You know, the problem with me is that I'm freaking aware of it. I'm freaking aware of it, but I still refuse to. You know, even during the times when I say it's my fault, don't worry about it. It was my fault. You know, deep down inside of me, I'm thinking, screw you, man. Screw you, man. Or, of course in Filipino, I won't think about, calling them as freaking liars. Sometimes stupid, misinformed. You don't know what you're saying. So those are the kinds of things that I want to tell people sometimes. I want to call them out. But I don't want to call them out. Because I don't want to offend and I don't want to embarrass people. Especially those people who I know get angry or get embarrassed. I don't know how they feel though. I don't know how they feel when they feel embarrassed or they feel like, they have no power, I'm usurping their power or their authority when I correct them.
Final warning.
Yeah, that's the problem with me. I don't want to call people out, I don't want to correct them. Yeah, I don't think I've seen these creatures before.
Stop right there.
Freaking animal cruelty. Especially in front of other people, they freaking misinform. They've been misinforming. I don't wanna correct them. I don't wanna expose them.
Final warning.
Yeah, I don't wanna expose them as liars or misinformation peddlers. I have a bad idea of respect. It's like I'm gonna save their face. I'm gonna save their face, but I'm not gonna save their ass.
Stop right there.
Yeah, that's one problem when some particular people, they don't like to be corrected. So I wouldn't. Anyway, I gotta wash all my socks later. Yeah, man, I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna do my laundry later or not. Right now, let me fill up the water. So yeah. Doing chores while gaming, what the frick. Just a minute, gotta fill the tank. Maybe, open the pipe. You know, 1 minute, 2 minutes. Hold on. Yo, I'm back.
Here, let me help you.
Final warning! You asked for it! Get them!
Meow, meow, meow.
Closer. Blitz.
Anyway, yeah. Excuse me. What the fuck?
Drop your weapons!
Surrender.
Man, if they don't give me the balance flow here. They didn't. What the Man, that's just dumb, man. Yeah, you know, there are actually some people I don't wanna hang out with anymore because they're just gonna be, I mean, certain people who I don't wanna hang out with other certain people. Yes, they're just, yeah, like I said, they might get embarrassed, you know, if they get exposed. See, that's the problem when you like to speak for other people.
Don't be such a brute.
And then, and you don't know what you're saying or if you're lying, then you might get exposed, no? I don't wanna embarrass people. No, I don't wanna, no, I don't wanna correct people, and I don't wanna, what else?
Let's spark things up a little. You're in for a little shock.
Yeah, I don't wanna correct people.
Oh no, I'm gonna ruin my gloves. Final warning!
I knew I should have stayed home.
Stop right there!
Come a little closer. You're in for a little shock.
Nice and spicy! Drop your weapons! You're toast!
Hey, when did I suddenly grind more? I wasn't really planning that. Anyway, going back to the topic, you know, I don't wanna embarrass some people. I mean, especially if they've been, you know, misinforming others for a very long time. And then, you know, I don't want to correct them anymore. I just want them to sit on their throne, on their high horse. And go back to your throne where you're always right. If you refuse to be corrected. And I'll show myself out. I'll show myself out. That's something I've been thinking about for a very long time now, you know. Yeah, Go back to your high horse. Go back to your throne where you're always right. I'm not gonna burst your bubble. Because that's what you want. I mean that's what they want. And if you get real with them, which I don't wanna, because they might lash out verbally or physically. Yeah, because that's what they've been doing all my life, lashing out.
Ready for trial.
And I don't care if it's just coping or if it's for real. I don't care. Because as far as other people know, yeah. As far as other people know, it's real. And I don't want those particular people to be exposed or come off, what do you call this, or what do you call this, there's no right term, like come off as liars. I don't want them to look like liars. And I don't care. I don't care if it's true. I don't care if it's true or if it's really just coping. I don't care. Whatever. And if I even cared, they might lash out even more. Why do you care? What they might tell me, why do you care? So, man, I cannot understand that. Nippon. I'm not gonna get ahead of you. That's what I say. That's what I'm saying. I'm not gonna get ahead of you. Hindi kita pinapaunahan. I'm not gonna assume what you're thinking or how you're feeling. I'm just gonna stop caring. I forgot to put back the electro. I forgot to put back the electro peeps.
Drop your weapons. Let's get it on! Where are you? Stop right there!
What? Man, I don't want you to be listening to negativity while you sleep, man. So, I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna talk about. You know, I think I'm just making excuses not to make amends. But for real, some people really don't like to be corrected. When they get really angry. You know, they get what do you call this? I hate being frozen. You know, they're freaking vicious. They're freaking vicious when you try to correct them. You know, I don't, like I said, I don't care if it's, I don't care if it's coping. I don't care. You know, I think most people in my life, you know, even my coworkers, I think they notice that. You know, you know, I really don't believe in, it's not what you do, it's what you're thinking of. You know, I don't believe that it's the thought that counts. I mean, okay, to be fair, to be fair, to try to become a better person, to try to improve. I gotta acknowledge the fact that yes, I'm hypocritical for thinking that, I'm gonna say I mean well, but I don't wanna correct people. I'd rather save their face than save their ass. I'm gonna allow them to be wrong. I'm gonna allow them to make mistakes. Just so that they won't feel bad about it. No? I don't know. And that's why, I keep on saying I hate fake liberals, fake libertarians. I know one who says, no meddling. No, what's this? No intervention, but they keep on meddling, they keep on intervening. Why didn't they make her a Muslim mommy? Visually. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do my laundry today. No, I don't wanna do it tomorrow. I want the whole day to be for myself tomorrow. And I wonder what to do tomorrow. Oh yeah, the groceries. I haven't tried no other place. So I'm still thinking where to go. And today I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna... I don't know if I'm going out today. You know, earlier when I went out to turn on the pipe, it almost started to rain, like it drizzled a little. And I think I'm gonna use my own bike. I haven't used it in a while, and I've been keeping it someplace that, you know, wouldn't be easy for thieves to get. You know, my bikes are very cheap, but but you know, if I had like a, you know, if I were a fake thief, I'd still try to get them and sell them for however much I can. And that brings me back to some memories from during my active drinking. You know, I would sell a pair of gloves. You know, that's my only sale for the day. And yet I'm gonna use all of my money to freaking buy liquor. You know, I'm gonna hang out at a bar. I'd freaking do the meet-up near a bar so that I can spend all my money on liquor, on beer afterwards, you know. That's the kind of person I was before. So, using my life savings for cigarettes and liquor. And yeah. That's why I'm very thankful to have, you know, to have my parents. Even though, you know, I have an attitude problem. Yeah, I can say that God never, let me, you know, die. Because I'm still alive. LOL. Yeah. I've been to one very bad accident. But I'm still alive. It's been 4 years. You know, if yeah, whatever. That's why I really get annoyed. I really get annoyed when people, you know, try to force me to go back to drinking. You know, they think it's a joke. You know. And that's why I will never joke like that around people. You know, if I know that they had a drinking problem or even drug problem or even a gambling problem before, I'd never joke about it. However, you know, I'm not a dick. If I know that you had a bad habit or an addiction, I'm not gonna try to burst your bubble. You know, I'm not a freaking savior, man. The decision is yours. The choice is yours. Because I know what it feels to be robbed of your choices. That's why I'm very careful not to influence people, you know. I can talk about what happened to me and what I think, not what I know. And I'm not gonna present myself as someone who knows everything. Yeah. Yeah, that really reminds me of a person. You know, I'm talking very matter-of-factly when they're misinformed. It's not even funny. Anyway, you know, I think I wanna chop my other bike handlebar. You know, I wanna make it shorter to be you know, to continue being considerate towards, you know, motorists and pedestrians. You know, the other people who use bikes in the Philippines, man, they really complain so hard. They really complain about, you know, the bike lane being abolished. And I don't know what kind of rights they're talking about. You know, freaking share the road. You know, asking. I think sometimes they ask for so much, for too much. You know, to give us like 1 meter spacing from the vehicles, you know. I mean, freaking privilege, man. It's a one thing that society allows us to use bikes. You know, imagine if they illegalized bikes. You know, if they made bikes illegal on the road, just like they did with electric bikes. Imagine if they did that to bicycles also. Then we'd have a real reason to complain. Yeah, sometimes we ask for too much. Anyway, I think I'm done with Genshin for today. Oh wait, we have a poll. I don't wanna play Warhammer Dark Tide because, you know, my GPU really cannot play it smoothly. We're just gonna get dizzy from what we're seeing. Anyway, you know, I haven't tinkered around with my airsoft stuff for a very long time. Maybe later. I don't know if I have time. using them, so I really don't have any reason to take them apart and clean them. Except, you know, I've modified some of them to fit together, no different brands of parts. So that's one thing. I just want to check that everything's running smoothly. Okay, I'm gonna get water. I'm really drinking lots of water because, you know, I abuse coffee. Gonna get water. Man, I'm really getting some... I don't know, maybe I need to recover from the freaking dust from the office. No, sometimes I can visibly see the dust in the air, man. Freak. Oh yeah, and I don't know about gas prices. I ride my bike. People like who are in real life so much, I don't know why. Gotten groomed by all the movies and TV shows and games. It's all fun and games. It's all fun and games until it's not fun and games anymore. Everybody gangsta until they gotta do gangsta stuff. Damn. Man. Right now I'm being pretentious as if I'm a gangster. Soldier boy, a PDO, I'm the Superman, oh, I'm you, and the soldier, I'm you, and the soldier boy. Shit. Meow meow. Soldier boy, a PDO, I'm the meow. Superman, oh.
What the hell?
Soldier boy, a PDO.
还猜对我笑。
大恶龙 A 大恶龙。
什么是人类啊？
我操 I'm Filipino. Ain't no one asked. I just wanted them to know. Because I cannot speak Chinese.
小一小，插上塞子。
Yeah, I cannot, I cannot do a, I cannot do a Latino or Mexican, impression. I don't know. Teacher asked me to turn in my essay, but but I ain't no snitch. I ain't no snitch, Holmes. I'm not gonna turn in my essay.
呆子，
没钱没
我操，谁捡走了？
I'm not gonna turn in my essay.
我那么长。
And you know, like I said before, the person who I heard was a freaking self-professed anarchist. Man, I don't know. He looks like he wouldn't survive 2 minutes in a freaking riot.
B 有一个 B 有一个，杀敌杀敌杀敌杀敌杀敌。
Yo, why did you shoot me?
他这两个。
Are you loco? Are you loco?
欺负农村人啊！
Insane in the membrane.
你哪国人呢？
Listens to Cypress Hill once. 喵喵。
男的女的？
喵喵。
变声器语，如果有电音就变声器语。
整这鸡巴声，整的我他妈要撒尿！操！
You know, Dark Flare, if you ever called customer service, we might have spoken on the phone before. Yeah, the possibility is low but never zero. Lol. Or last year, if you ever emailed technical support, we might have spoken. Lol. No, the possibility is low but never zero. Yeah, I cannot tell you which companies I work for though. But I can tell you that one is like I was in tech support last year and then customer service this year. Since December. Frick. No. They say that Spanish department gets a lot of money. Like their salary is like, I don't know, 4 times or even more. 4 times my own salary. I think I want that. But you know, I've been listening to some Spanish, but I never really locked in to like learn it. I never really locked in. Last one over tunnel. Maybe circled around.
飞行堂，我这他妈外语你都听不懂。
你他妈说的啥玩意啊？
Where are you going?
了解领导，把这比赛儿正好飞行堂。爆枪了！
哎呦我去！没保。
这个逼样的，操！又给逼猫的。时间不够了，不用管了，就待着吧。他爹来都时间不赶趟了。
哼。
喵喵喵。喵喵。
漂亮，你真够阴的。
来直接展示大鱼。呵。
Anyway, yeah, I'm still grateful that I'm off of the cigarettes and liquor. Because if not, I wouldn't have any money at all. Frick. Long. Maybe I should start breeding guppies again. Just like I did, you know, when I was still actively drinking. One of the little things that made me money. Oh no! Not much money though.
我不信。
狗嘚儿没捡着。
Man, I do remember the latter half of 2023. Yeah, I did some PC refurbishing, and one of my customers, I'm still Facebook friends with them. They're a freaking tattoo artist. Maybe I didn't get my first tattoo. And you know, I still have no tattoo. I don't have any. And I do have one piercing on my lower lip. I don't have any piercings on my ears. Just on my lower lip. No, because I'm a big fan of Tigger and Sarah. You know, I've had one of my intake fans working, oh, through the, I'm sorry about the disconnection of the sound card.
，A 大，A 大，A 大。我操！他妈打 A 大一小都上了。
一小也上了。
对着后面打的我。
让我瞅瞅。哎，给我秒。
You know, if I get the next job, you know, I'm really gonna expand my solar setup. No, I'm freaking gonna... I don't know, maybe I'll start growing some plants. Not weed. Legal plants. Aquatic and terrestrial. Not weed, man. Nothing illegal, man. Nothing illegal, Holmes.
我还有50。
Man, that ain't no... Life ain't no comedy skit, man. Don't be joking around with other people's lives, man. It ain't funny. Frick.
没上 A 大呀，
黑大一小都有。
你看牛子看一小，
一通看一下子。
A 大没吗？
Yo, I think I gotta feed my crayfish. I think I gotta feed my crayfish. It's acting kinda crazy. Climbing the sponge filter.
我来了，第一。
飞口，
看到了。
大残，剩他妈2、3滴血了。A 小看包 ，A 小看包，不用管他，他是大残。
萨瓦迪卡。
了解不在拍皮子儿。
你这啥自创语言呀？
新疆话。
哦，不对，
中门出，妈的，给我出题了。沙地掉包了吧？ 捡我道具 ，A 大 A 大 A 大，赶紧去支援。
A 小也有一个，妈的这他妈都比挂机了好像。
拦车。
Sorry.
别
EFK,
给票，
sorry.
别给票，别给票，活了。F2。
好活。
Long.
还有一个是男的。
CT.
那个，囧鸭。
No, sorry. I'm top
谁
two.
按一下 F2？
No, sorry.
谁
I'm
没给
not
票的？
back
按
now.
一下 F2。
No.
不是，要不老搁这显示啊。
直接让鲜活队友变成冰冷的。
Alright, night to you. Thank you for coming. And don't mind my negativity. I'm trying to make sense of, things that happened in the past. And I'm trying to improve as a person. Reminding myself of past mistakes. So that I won't repeat them. It hurts to remember, but if I don't remember, I'll never change.
B。
哎呦，
漂亮。
好的。哎，还不死。
狙点，打死没打死。
机会很残。
漂亮，开包。
哎呦，没时间了。
Nice Nice, nice try.
没有钳子呀？
没有。
我操！
不是乌鸦哥这一局你们俩不是一起打。
Anyway, it's a good thing that I went outside because the water tank is full.
手枪干一把吧。
So I turned off the water pipe. It's manual because you know.
你就第一把吗？
Gotta do what we gotta do.
北小中门。
他等一下，他鼻从不烟了，知道。
北小上了。
One T base.
北小上了，一大。
Okay, short.
大脚步下包了。
There's one here. We jump. Corner. He's there.
区点。
All clear.
开。
别搞啊！
They have a kit.
我操！不对。
够用。
不对。
We didn't have kit.
行，中路留人呢，一小也得去。对面的玩法有点嘚儿。
喵喵。
你有大狙小心点哦。出门。
What did you call me?
哪里？
还一大呢。
好枪！
大坑掉包。 666。
No, I actually cleaned my GPU heatsink last night, and I'm pretty impressed that it's still pretty clean.
5个人一起冲啊，直接打毙。
I don't know with you, man. I don't even know what country you're.
要3打5了吗？
包拿着。
Are you from?
烟里。狗洞。
哎呦，我就是在烟里那个没死。
烟里有人。
A， 来车，我操！
No. Are you Polski? Polski. Your username seems to be Polish. I don't know with you. I mean, I would prefer to be a civilian because, you know, I've been dissuaded all my life.
越打越牛逼。
I've been dissuaded all my life, you know, they told me
还押上韵了。
to forget about it.
票也没封烟，也不敢上啊，咋上？
操他妈
啥鸡
的！
巴烟？
比他妈还前压了。
妈的，我说咱们
去 B 吧，去 B 吧，去 B。
咱 B 有人看到的呀。
B 没人。
哎呀，
我
兄
操！
弟，
不赖我，他后去的，在闭门呢。
A 小闭门2个，
对面3个人。
相信你们靠秒杀。完
A
了，
小
You know, speaking about, you know, gangster, I wanna be gangster before. Yeah, I really, really wanna beat up someone. Oh,
来，好好打来。
no, I had to forget about my own time and my own, my personal affairs to be there for them. And then what they would do is they'd act as if they were my boss. Oh, they'd act like a gangster. You know, as if they were my boss. Talking to me like a gangster. I really wanted to beat them up. Yeah, I wanted them to be beaten up so badly, you know, close to death. You know, to try to kind of fix them, you know, scare them straight. You know, like I said, I don't care if you're coping, and if you didn't mean it, man, I don't care. I don't care if you're coping. Yeah. Yeah. I don't care if you're coping, just don't do it again. And especially don't do it to anyone else. Don't do it to someone else. Yes, not everyone has the same. Not everyone has the same restraint as I do. The same restraint that I have. You know, if I wanna beat you up, imagine what other people would do. People with no restraint and people who have nothing to lose if they do something to you. Imagine that. No, because back then I had a lot to lose. That's why I had so much self-restraint. If I didn't have anything to lose, I wouldn't have that much self-restraint. Man, I wanted to beat that guy up. See, it's really not what you think. It's what you do. You know, there's if I can go to jail for what I thought, man, I'd go to jail, man. One important thing is I didn't do it. Hello. Man, I'm thinking about how I don't believe in, it's not what you do, it's what you're thinking of. Man, I'm thinking plenty of times I'm thinking about beating someone up. And if I can go to jail for what I think, for what I was thinking, man, I'd go to jail, man. But the important thing is I didn't do it. Gotta have self-restraint. You know, that's why there's a lot of violence in the Philippines nowadays. Because people don't have no self-restraint. I mean, even if they don't have access to like weapons, man, they'd still do like battery. Or you know, they can use a kitchen knife, an ice pick. So yes, don't blame the weapon, blame the man. Don't blame the weapon, blame the person. Man, I really freaking hell.
Rữ đó.
Come on guys, ramp it up. I'm gonna change my strategy because it's not working. Run and gun usually works for me. Well, I'm not the reason we're losing though. I have more kills than deaths. I'm doing fine, relatively. I mean, I've had worse days. Most of the time, it's just in the head. Because I have negative thoughts. Any idea where the last man is? I think middle. High mid. Meow meow.
打哪儿？守一波，守一波。
Huh?
打回避呗，妈一直打一小一大，天天都。
守一波，让他们先压。
Hell yeah. Yes, last one is there. A side. A side, A side, A side. Are you kidding me, bro? You didn't get him? What the frick? I'll kick you. GMG, what's wrong with you guys? 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 What's wrong with you guys?
打 B 走。
打回避，打回避。
B，直接冲。中门我封个烟。
Kobe, purple. Purple and Kobe.
有，我还被闪了，赶紧出。中间。
Newbie.
好了。下包吧，
地通。
Oh, tunnel. Yes, tunnel. Meow meow.
还一大，走。
So sorry about that. Pow. Can I hit him?
说我打队友啊。
Good job. See, I hit him. Come on, man. Why didn't you hit me? What's wrong with you? What's your problem?
我操！我这是打队友了，妈的！你说拦车，
屁股，
有个拦车，我回头直接打队友身上了，太难受了。
上边就一个人一起冲，他肯定死了。打 B 吧。
给我多余的
包给我。
Bro.
上边就一个人一起冲。
GG talaga.
下包。
我码了。
One more short last one.
好枪。
No. Good job.
666。
Meow meow. Meow meow. GG. Middle.
A 小上了一个，A 小上了一个。
GG. They're both at long, bro. They can't teleport. Good job. Too short. Man, I wanna buy a high quality vinyl wrap. Oh man. I haven't been watching other VTubers anyway. Once I started VTubing myself, I didn't wanna watch them anymore because I couldn't relate. And I'm very.
大狙在井家。
I don't wanna watch like freaking thirst trap. I mean, most of them are cute, but hot. For me, they're not very hot. Right now that I'm older, maybe Nerissa. I like Nerissa. Who else? Yeah, I think Nerissa's the only VTuber I kinda like now. With a little bit of attraction, but all the rest, nah, not really. You know, before I can relate with the Calliope. I can relate with Mori. You know, when I was a little bit of an edgelord. But nowadays, not anymore.
Coffee ko brown, sarap ang paab. Saktong timpla ng kape, milk, brown sugar. Coffee ko brown.
No, dude, they killed Chibi Philly. Oh, wow, why are you so tall? You guys.
Chibi Fillion. One more long doors.
Get ready to feel the instant jolt of freshness with Colgate Fresh Confidence.
Have you ever wanted to know how to keep your very own pet crayfish? Well, today you're going to learn. Today I'm going to be telling you all the basics and everything you need to know about keeping pet crayfish. But before we start, make sure to like and subscribe because we're almost at 1,000 subs. Let's get into it. First off, when I say crayfish, I mean like freshwater yabby, like a freshwater crayfish, not a lobster or anything that lives in the sea, just a freshwater crayfish. The first step is to plan what you want to have in your tank. Plan how big your tank is going to be, and plan what kind of crayfish you want to have. So, go to your local pet store and have a look. Maybe you'll find a crayfish that you want there. And you can also have a look at the kinds of tanks that are available there. Okay, now the important bit, the tank. Crayfish aren't really picky with their tank, but there is a sort of rule that I have. The rule that I have is just that you can't have a really tiny tank for your crayfish. It isn't comfortable for your crayfish, and if you have any other fish or anything, it's definitely not going to be comfortable. It won't end well. For an adult crayfish, I'd aim for about 10 gallons or more. For babies, you can maybe get away with something a bit smaller, but you have to remember, crayfish come in all sizes and shapes. It's really hard to find one perfect number, but for a large adult crayfish, I'd definitely say more than 10 gallons. If the tank is too tall, the crayfish can't really swim up there. It kind of just scuttles around on the ground. So the more ground area it has, the better, because it can do more things. Now for the fun bit. Okay, so you've got your tank and you're ready to pick your crayfish. Now, you can always catch your own crayfish and then put it in your tank, but I wouldn't recommend. It could be illegal, and in Australia we are super tight on border security and invasive species and everything. So the safest option is to just buy it from a store, and the staff can help you there. Once you have your crayfish, you need to feed it. Now, crayfish eat lots and lots of things. They're not really picky. In fact, they eat each other, fish, like vegetables, literally everything. So, there are a few things to avoid, but pretty much anything you can think of, really. Just as long as it sinks to the bottom, they'll eat it. But you can buy specially made pellets for them. You can live feed them. You can do really anything with them. They don't mind. Like, they're like carrots, grapes, pellets, anything really.
No.
There are a few other details that I need to mention, but they don't really deserve their own segment, so I'll just put them all together. Crayfish are really, really territorial, so please don't put lots of crayfish together in one tank. In fact, I pretty much have another rule: one tank equals one crayfish. Don't even try to put lots of them together. Unless you have something ridiculous like a 50 or 60 gallon tank, then maybe you can get away with one or two. Okay, maybe more than one or two. 3 or 4. But still, don't put lots of them in one tank. It won't end well. They'll end up eating each other. Just don't do it. Crayfish and fish don't always get on either. So please note that fish will try and eat them. If the fish is big enough, it'll probably try and eat the crayfish, depending on what species the crayfish and fish is. It varies, but still, I don't like keeping big fish with my crayfish. And the crayfish will eat any smaller bottom feeders. So try to get fish that don't hang around the bottom and aren't particularly aggressive. Now, about molting, crayfish molt quite often. Younger ones molt more than older ones, and one day you'll probably just wake up and see that there's 2 crayfish, and you'll be like panicking, wondering what happened. But actually one of them is just the old skin that it had, and it sheds. In fact, most crayfish actually end up eating the old skin to get energy from it. I don't know, but they just end up eating it anyway. So if you see it, just leave it in there for a little bit. The crayfish will probably eat it, and it's totally normal for your crayfish to take a while to get out of its old shell. But if it's been a while and you're kind of getting worried about your crayfish, you should probably take it to a vet. Now this is a fact that most people don't actually know, and that fact is crayfish are great escape artists. Like, they are really, really good at escaping. They can climb stuff, jump out, like, trust me, they have escaped before. Now, you need to keep a glass lid or some other lid on top, because trust me, they will probably try to escape at least once. They're like really, really good at escaping. So, and if you find your crayfish trying to escape, that's probably a sign that it needs like less food, more food, something like that. There's probably a reason why it's trying to escape. So yeah, if you find your crayfish like on the floor in the middle of the night, that's actually pretty common. Like, I've walked down in the middle of the night and my crayfish has just been chilling on the floor. So yeah, make sure not to step on it and try to slowly introduce it back into the water, otherwise it can drown again. Now, this is a very popular topic, crayfish breeding. I've never done it before, but I know quite a bit about it. It's actually really, really hard. Identifying crayfish and everything, that's a whole different video. I have a few videos on my channel which you can look at, which go in depth about breeding. Well, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you can. We're really close to 1,000 subs, and if you have any other questions, just put them in the comments. Thank you for watching, and please like and subscribe. Also, if you write "I subscribed" into the comments box, you might actually get a free shout out too. So make sure to do that. I've already done a shout out video before, so just add your comments and you might get a shout out too.
Horror stories. Man, I guess I'm not leaving today. I don't wanna be tempted to buy stuff.
I'm the middle sibling of 3. I have 2 brothers. They both grew up as scouts. My older brother made it to Eagle Scout. My little brother quit some time in Boy Scouts. But for whatever reason, my parents never forced me to become a scout when I was a kid. Which is weird, because I remember always being really jealous of my older brother Scott when my mom would bring me along to the Pinewood Derby contests and celebrations and such. But the thing that I was always the most jealous that I missed out on were the campouts. When the troops would go out into the wilderness and camp out for a whole weekend. I went along for the drive once or twice, and I saw them all setting up, doing campfires and such, but being younger and also not part of the troop, I don't think I was allowed to stay, so I'd go home with my parents. My jealousy of these campouts was mainly towards my older brother because I was growing up watching him prepare for these camping trips. Before every trip, he'd be given a tent to take home and practice setting up in the backyard. Even though I was only like 7 or 8, I remember so clearly how eager I was when I hatched the idea to do a little backyard camping. Basically, we set up the tent in the backyard and sleep in it overnight. To my little mind, that was the most exciting idea ever. Also, our backyard wasn't really a traditional backyard. Our childhood house was in a very spacious neighborhood where yards just kind of all meshed together and there weren't many fences, more so large patches of trees and brush separating yards, which added to the camping feel. Our backyard was also huge, and we had a fire pit, so our parents played along and set up the fire pit in our backyard for us so we could get the full camping experience. My little brother roasted marshmallows with us too, but our parents weren't going to let him sleep in the tent. He was only like 4 at the time, and it wasn't a good idea. And no, he wasn't a scout yet, obviously. He was 4. To the camping field. After it got a little late, our parents brought him in and told us it was time to start getting ready for sleep. At this time in my life, the Game Boy SP was the handheld console. So after getting into our sleeping bags, Scott and I whipped out our Game Boys and played our respective games. I was playing Super Mario Bros. 2, a game I was obsessed with, yet could never beat as a child. After getting a little more tired though, I turned to my side and tried to sleep. But I remember not being able to sleep. Like, I was tired, but restless. Maybe because I'd never slept in a sleeping bag before, and quite frankly, it wasn't comfortable. A lot of time passed, and I mean a lot, before I finally nodded off. And then, I woke up probably confused about where I was at first, not recognizing my surroundings. I remember looking around the dark tent, and then noticing something. Scott was gone. His sleeping bag was empty. The tent zipper was closed, though. He must have went inside because he couldn't sleep. I was suddenly too scared to be in the tent alone, so I got up and unzipped the tent. But before crawling out, I did a little innocent peek outside, simply because I was too scared to run out through the backyard without checking if the coast was clear. But it was not. I saw someone sitting by the fire pit in the darkness. It wasn't Scott. It was a grown man. He was facing the tent, and surely he had to have seen me. I gasped and zipped the tent back up and crawled back into my sleeping bag, as if that piece of cloth was any form of protection. I stayed completely still inside my sleeping bag. The tent was almost completely dark, just a faint gray from the moonlight coming through the fabric. I don't know what was going through my mind at that point, but I do know that I wanted to call out Dad, just hoping that it was my dad. But I knew it wasn't. I got a look at the man, even just briefly, and if it were my dad, he'd have acknowledged me poking my head out of the tent. And that's when I heard the chair by the fire pit shift. I was shitting bricks, hoping the man didn't get up, and if he did, that he wasn't coming towards the tent. But I could see a shadow now on the other side of the tent, blocking some of the moonlight. He was right outside. Somehow, I thought if I didn't move, maybe he would think the tent was empty. Then I heard the zipper, very slowly dragging downward. It only moved a few inches. The opening was small, but it was enough. I couldn't help it. I turned my head just slightly. There's a small gap at the bottom of most tents where the zipper doesn't fully seal. I had never noticed it before that night. An eye was pressed against that gap. Just one eye, looking directly at me. I could see the white of it in the dark. I couldn't even scream at first. Not for a few seconds at least, because I was paralyzed. Then the eye squinted a bit, as if the person was smiling a smile that I couldn't see. The zipper moved another inch, and that's when I finally screamed. I scrambled backwards, kicking out of my sleeping bag, knocking into the tent poles. I heard footsteps immediately take off through the yard. Our back porch light flipped on, which I could see through the tent fabric. My dad burst out the back door yelling. I could hear him running across the grass. By the time he reached the fire pit area, whoever it was already gone. My parents called the police, of course. I don't remember what happened after my parents talked to the cops. I know I went to my parents' room with my mom, and eventually the police did their thing, likely searching the immediate area. It was an absolute nightmare. I slept in my parents' bed that night. I was emotionally scarred for a while. Just as things might have been going back to normal. It was a few weeks to a month later. This part is what really hammers the nail in the coffin for this experience being something I can never forget. I went to Catholic school, and during lunch we'd have a short recess in the schoolyard, which was all concrete. The far end of the schoolyard was fenced off and looked towards the street. We were playing some game, maybe red light, green light or something. This part I genuinely don't remember. All I know is I had to run to the fence to be considered safe from whatever the threat in the game was. While I was on the fence, next to some other kids, mind you, a man says hey from the other side of the fence. I turn, and it's a man asking me for directions to some place I don't even remember. I said I don't know. We weren't even supposed to talk to strangers outside of the schoolyard. Then he said, "Your name's Chris, right?" That moment is implanted in my brain. His voice, the look on his face, my heart dropping. I said no, lying to him. He then smiled and said, "You don't remember me, do you?" And at this point, I ran towards one of the recess chaperones and pointed over at the fence, but the man was gone. One of the kids next to me told me he saw the man too. The recess ladies called the recess in short, and the school called my parents. I was sure it was that man from the backyard. I was taken home early that day. I know my parents were so sick and worried after this. It was a hellish month. We lived in such a nice area too. To almost be chased out of the neighborhood because of this was just a nightmare. After months of me being under tight supervision from my parents, things went back to normal. I can't express enough, though, how much it still pains me in my chest, thinking about how I could be dead today if that man had somehow successfully taken me. And it makes me sick, wondering if he was ever successful in whatever he was trying to do with someone else.
That's freaking scary, man.
I grew up in Salem, Oregon, a quaint little small-town feeling place. I moved out when I was 21, buying my first house about 50 miles out from Salem. I furnished my first house with a mix of stuff for my parents, their friends, and a bunch of stuff off online marketplaces and apps. I was driving a Ford Raptor at the time, so lugging stuff around was thankfully very easy. On Facebook Marketplace one day, I found a listing selling a bunch of good-looking stuff. The ones in the listing that caught my eye were this cream-colored sectional couch that looked pristine, and this Cannondale brand mountain bike. I didn't have a bike at the time, and where my house is, having one is perfect for exercise. The other stuff on the listing didn't really interest me. The listing itself was just sort of a digital yard sale. I contacted the seller, and we did a little typical back and forth. He was pretty short and straight to the point with his answers, and surprisingly easy to negotiate. He agreed to a slightly lower price, and he said I could come pick the stuff up later that night. Days are long in Oregon in the summer, so I'd still be showing up with some sunlight. I banked on having to do a couple trips to transport the sectional couch due to its size. I set out on my way to the house. The address was right on the coast. I checked the satellite view on the map just to confirm it was bringing me to a house, and it was. Based on the map, there was a long trail or driveway that veered off the road towards a huge open property with a big-looking house, and then in the backyard was a literal drop-off to the ocean. All I could think was, no wonder these people were selling all this stuff for so cheap. With that kind of money, I wondered why they weren't just giving it away. I headed out that way, and it didn't take long to get there. I could tell the closer I got to the shore, the nicer the properties got. And then I turned onto the last road before I'd be turning onto the driveway for the house. This road was long. It was lined with woods on each side, and then I passed the occasional driveway leading to probably a cliffside mansion. Eventually, I made it to the turnoff. It was a tree-lined dirt road, or the driveway, I guess you would call it. About 10 seconds in of driving down this driveway, it opened to this massive clearing. The driveway went on a slight incline leading to the house at the top of this hill. I pulled up next to this older sedan. It was like a Mercury Sable or something. It did not match the house at all. Like, this house looked like it belonged to a millionaire, and this car was a piece of shit. I went up to the front door, ready to ring the bell, but there was a yellow post-it note on the front door, and it said on it, "Doorbell broken, please use back door." Weird, because I could have just knocked, but I obeyed. As I walked down the front porch, I messaged the guy on Messenger that I arrived and was going around back. I walked around the side of the house, looking at each window as I passed, but the blinds all seemed to be closed. I got to the backyard, and it was crazy. It actually overlooked the Pacific Ocean. I walked up the back deck to go knock on the back door. It was a sliding glass door, but there was some kind of sliding blind that was closed, so I couldn't see inside. I knocked on the glass. I stood there for a minute, then knocked again. I looked down at my phone to see if he answered or read my message. Neither. I went to go sit on one of the chairs on the deck and spun it around to stare at the sunset and the view of the Pacific. It was a surreal view. I kept checking my Messenger app and following up with the guy, but he wasn't answering. I triple-checked that I had the right address, and I did. Plus, the note on the front door confirmed that. I decided if he was in the shower or occupied or something, I'd at least go walk over to the cliffside and get a picture of the view. I did just that. I walked down the deck, then down the seemingly freshly cut grass to the cliffside. Taking in the view, I daydreamed about one day being able to afford a place like this. I started walking back up to the house, but stopped maybe 3 steps in, when I realized every single window now had their blinds open, and there was a person standing at each window, standing as still as statues. I didn't know if what I was looking at was some kind of prank or not. I walked a little closer, and the moment I said, "Nope, I've seen enough," was when I realized every single face was smiling. I honestly couldn't tell if they were mannequins or not. That's how still they were. I decided I just needed to get to the car. I did a light jog around the side of the house again, and that side window that I mentioned that also had its blind shut before was now too lifted, and there was someone at this window as well. I didn't know what was going on here, but I had to get out. As I got to the front, I got back in my car, and I didn't even look at the front windows. I didn't even want to know if there were people at these windows too. I reversed all the way down the driveway, and regrettably, I did at one point take a curious look ahead at the house. The front door was open, and there was a person standing on the front porch with his hands in his pockets, watching me drive away. It didn't matter. Everything about this was a red flag. I was out of there in a minute and down the road. The guy never opened or responded to my message still. I decided to turn into the closest neighbor's house driveway and knock on the door.
Meow meow.
They answered. I explained the bizarre and disturbing situation I just encountered, and I pressed them about any info on their neighbor. The man who answered, who I'll call Tom, was shocked, because he's close friends with the guy next door, and he said he's hardly ever in town, and that he wouldn't set up some kind of elaborate prank like that. He called his neighbor on the spot, and the guy picked up. Basically, the conversation went as follows from what I remember. "Hey Jen, it's Tom next door. Listen, I got someone at my front door right now saying you invited him to your house to buy stuff, but you pulled some kind of scary prank on him with the windows and stuff." And there was a pause before the Tom guy said, "What are you talking about?" From here, I stepped in and explained everything, from the Facebook ad, to my arrival there, to the people at the windows. He now sounded very concerned, because he said he wasn't home this week. I did my best to describe every detail, including what the man on the front porch looked like, as well as the sketchy car. He asked me to take his number so he could contact me after the police investigated. After that, I left. I went home. I really didn't have it in me to commit 2 hours to some police investigation that didn't concern me, truth be told. But I did hear from the guy later that night. He called me and asked me to send him the Facebook listing, but it was removed. I did send him the details of the profile that I was messaging on the Messenger app, but it was now
Let's just listen to this and then I'm gonna go after.
a blank profile. He thanked me for that and would give it to the police anyway. When I asked him what the cops found, he told me they found nothing stolen as far as he knew at that time, and that all the blinds were once again closed, and there was no sedan in the driveway, but that all 3 doors in the house were unlocked. Now the scary part for me is the way they were all standing at the windows, smiling, trying to scare me. And I have to wonder, What use was I going to be of to them? Why did they want me in the backyard? Scary thoughts, honestly. I'm just glad I left when I did.
Anyway, later I'm gonna, see what I can do.
I lived with my parents in Murraysville, Pennsylvania. My parents were gone one weekend, so I decided I was gonna have a bunch of people over in the backyard.
Hold on, I'm gonna take a bathroom break and I'll be right back. Bathroom break, then get some water to drink again. Yung back.
For a mini pool party. We have a pool house and an in-ground pool back there. It's perfect for parties, even though I rarely get a chance to throw anything. The rest of the backyard is a little bit of grass and then the woods behind the pool house. It's a very private backyard. Usually. You'll see what I mean soon. So the little party I planned was for Saturday night. Earlier that day, I was setting up outside. It was a little cloudy out, but since it was going to be a night party, that didn't really matter. The woods behind the pool house are pretty big. They go at least half a mile back before they reach another backyard. So there should really be no one walking through them. It's also our property. There are no trails or any reason for anyone to be back there. I was bringing out folding tables for beer pong and refreshments and setting them up when I heard a cough come from the woods. It was clearly a slow, throat-clearing kind of cough, like someone trying to get something out of their throat, and it was definitely a man. I froze with the table still in my hands. I just stood there listening.
Yeah. Hold on, let me take apart the PC on my lap while we listen. And this is the same PC I got the other week.
The wind was barely moving the leaves, so the sound carried really clearly. It came from just inside the tree line, not deep in the woods. Close enough that whoever made it could definitely see me. I slowly set the table down and looked out toward the trees. Confused is one word to use, but unsettled would be a better one. No one should be in those woods, ever. I scanned the tree line and called out, "Who is that?" There was no answer. Not even any movement. No footsteps or branches snapping or anything. That almost made it worse. If it was some random guy walking through, I should have heard him moving away. But it was just quiet. I got that feeling in my chest, like I was being watched. Like someone was standing perfectly still just behind a tree, staring at me. I stood there for maybe 20 seconds just listening. The longer I stood there, the more uncomfortable I felt. Eventually, I just grabbed the rest of the stuff and brought it back inside for a bit. I didn't want to just stand out there alone anymore. I called my good friend Mark to come over early and help me set up. I decided not to mention the cough. I didn't want to sound paranoid before the party even started. Mark came over around 6 p.m. He brought some drinks and helped me finish setting up. I kept glancing at the woods while we were out there, but everything looked normal. Nothing moved. If someone had been there earlier, they were gone. The rest of my friends started showing up around 7 to 8. At the peak of the party, there were at least 20 people. Nothing insane, but it was a good time. There was music playing, people in the pool, lights around the patio on. With that many people there, the woods didn't feel creepy anymore. A couple times during the night, I caught myself looking toward the tree line though. I don't even know why. I guess that cough just stuck with me. Things started dying down around midnight, and by 1 a.m. the last of the guests had left. I figured I would leave the mess to clean up for tomorrow. I was tired and ready for bed. Before going inside, I did one last slow sweep of the backyard. I walked around the pool, checked behind the pool house, looked toward the woods again. Everything seemed normal.
Oh. You feel that? Feel what?
The water in the pool was still, the lights reflected off of it. No one was out there. I locked the back sliding door and went upstairs to brush my teeth and go to bed. I was in bed scrolling on my phone for maybe half an hour before putting it down. It probably took another half hour of laying there trying to sleep when I heard a splash. Not a small one. Not like something falling in. It sounded exactly like someone jumping into the deep end. My eyes opened immediately. I held still, listening. A few seconds later, I heard the sound of someone swimming, literal strokes through the water. My first thought was maybe someone from the party stayed behind as a joke, or they just woke up drunkenly. But I knew everyone who came. No one would do something like that. I checked my phone, and it was 2 a.m. I got out of bed and walked slowly to the window that overlooks the backyard. I didn't turn on any lights in my room. I didn't want whoever was out there to see me before I saw them. When I looked down at the pool, I saw there was a guy swimming calmly from one end to the other. At first, I tried to recognize him. I knew all 20 or so people who came over. This wasn't any of them. I leaned closer to the glass. The pool lights lit up his face just enough for me to know for sure. I had never seen him before. I yelled out the window, "Who is that?" The swimming stopped immediately. He looked up slowly toward my window. Even from that distance, I could tell he wasn't confused or startled. He just stared up at me. Then he started moving toward the shallow end. He climbed out of the pool, and that's when I saw how tall he was. He stood there dripping wet for maybe 2 seconds, just looking toward the house. I expected him to run away. Instead, he started walking toward the sliding door. Not running or hesitating, just walking fast and direct, like he already knew where he was going, almost in a march. I yelled again, "Hey, who is that?" He didn't respond. I heard the sliding door downstairs open. I know I locked it, I'm positive I did. But I heard it slide open. Then it slid shut. I ran to my bedroom door and locked it. That's when I noticed how much my hands were shaking. I grabbed my phone and texted Mark, asking him if he noticed anyone stay behind before leaving. But I didn't wait for a response. I immediately called 911. I whispered into the phone that there was an intruder in my house. I gave my address as quietly as I could. Then I heard the footsteps. They were slow, wet footsteps on hard wood. I could hear the slight stick of his feet lifting off the floor. He wasn't rushing, nor was he searching randomly. He was walking directly toward the stairs. Each step on the stairs creaked, one at a time. He reached the top. The hallway floor outside my room creaked. He stopped right outside my bedroom door. I could hear water dripping onto the floor. Then the handle moved. He tried opening it once, then twice, then a third time, harder each time. When he realized it was locked, there was a long pause. The 911 operator was saying something, but I had the phone set down. I could barely focus on what she was saying. Then the guy knocked on the door, 3 slow knocks. I picked up the phone and put it on speaker. My voice was shaking, but I said loudly that I was on the phone with the police and they were on their way. There was another long pause. Then a man's voice from the other side of the door said, very low and calm, "It's me. Open the door." He sounded like a grown man in his 30s. I said, "I know that I don't know you. Leave now." There was silence again. 5 seconds, maybe more. Then I heard him turn and walk away quickly. I heard his wet footsteps go back down the hallway, then down the stairs, and a few seconds later, I heard the front door downstairs open and slam shut. I didn't move until the police arrived. When I finally went downstairs with them, there was a clear trail of water leading from the back door, up the stairs, all the way to the bedroom door. After searching the entire house, that was the only proof that he had ever been there. I texted everyone I invited, asking if they stayed behind or noticed anyone else stay behind. Anyone who was still awake said no. The rest texted back in the morning saying no. It was a complete stranger. And I have a feeling that cough I heard in the woods earlier that day was that man. I don't know how he got the door unlocked. Maybe he slipped in during the party when people were going in and out. As for a motive, I have no idea. I just know that if I didn't wake up when I did, or if I opened that bedroom door, I don't know what he would have done.
Let's listen to one more.
This happened back in 2017 when I was living in St. Petersburg, Florida. I've always been a homebody, so when my coworker Jenna, who is about 10 years younger than me, started relentlessly begging me to go out, I kept declining. She and another girl from work, Mira, were persistent though, and after weeks of asking, I finally gave in. I told Jenna I would join them for a night out the following weekend. As the weekend approached, Jenna came to my apartment. She wanted to leave her car there and have me drive, which immediately stressed me out. I had lived in St. Pete for 4 years, but since I rarely left my neighborhood, I knew nothing about local nightlife. The farthest I usually drove was 4 miles to the nearest Walmart. If I went any further, I'd be lost without my GPS. That evening, we got into my car and headed toward Mira's apartment. When we arrived, Mira wasn't quite ready, so we went inside and waited. Once she was ready, all three of us piled back into my car. Since I was driving, Jenna had to navigate. We eventually ended up at a busy club. We went inside, found a spot, and ordered some drinks. We hadn't been there long when Jenna said, "Hey, I'll be right back. I see someone I know." She then asked Mira to go with her. I remember feeling a sharp stab of annoyance. Why beg me to come out only to leave me alone moments later? But I waited. A few minutes later, Jenna and Mira returned, smiling. "My friend brought us around," Jenna announced, handing me a glass. I trusted her, she was my coworker, so I took the drink, as they did theirs. I believe Jenna's friend bought us 2 rounds each. It wasn't long after the third drink that something felt terribly wrong. The room didn't spin, but a wave of thick, unsettling dread washed over me. I turned to Jenna and insisted we have to go now. The next few hours are a blur. I don't remember leaving the club, but apparently we did. The first thing I recall clearly is sitting outside Mira's apartment complex, still in the driver's seat of my car. I heard Jenna and Mira talking, and whatever they said, some combination of words I can't recall to this day, instantly triggered my fight or flight response. I didn't need to understand the words. My gut knew I was in danger. I slammed the car into drive and sped away. Whatever had been slipped into my drink was powerful. I wasn't a lightweight, and I'd only consumed 3 club drinks, which are often watered down. I was driving all over St. Pete, unable to focus, simply trying to figure out how to get home. But my mind was completely scrambled. At one point, I stopped at a red light. Suddenly, 2 figures appeared at my window, and then someone was pulling my car door open. I was in total shock. My car doors automatically locked the second I put the vehicle in gear. I still have no idea how they managed to open it. 2 strange men were actively pulling the door open, and the sight snapped me out of the mental fog just enough for me to hit the gas and flee the intersection. After that moment of sheer terror, the memory vanishes again. The next thing I remember, I was sitting in my car parked near a row of quiet homes. I was staring blankly at my phone, trying desperately to figure out how to operate it. But the drug had made me so paranoid and confused that the simplest action felt impossible. I looked around, saw no one, and convinced myself I was safe for the moment. I reclined the seat and fell into a deep, drug-induced sleep. I woke up around 5 a.m. with the drug wearing off. I was finally able to use my phone. I put on the GPS and drove straight home, collapsing into bed immediately. I woke up again around 11 a.m. to 20 missed calls, mostly from Jenna, but a few from a concerned friend. When I called Jenna back, she was frantic, demanding to know where I went. "What do you mean?" I retorted. "Your friend spiked my drink, and I wasn't sticking around to find out what was going to happen next," I told her. Jenna then let slip a chilling line. "Well, the spiked drinks weren't meant for you." That casual admission was all the confirmation I needed that she was involved. She quickly told me that she would stop by later to pick up her vehicle. Before she arrived, the memory of those 2 guys opening my door returned with jarring clarity. Had it been a hallucination, or was it real? I went outside to check my car. And there it was. The plastic casing of my driver's side door handle was completely missing. Whoever had been holding onto that handle when I sped away must have ripped it right off. The physical damage confirmed that the terror I felt wasn't a delusion. Someone had tried to get into my car while I was drugged, driving alone, and vulnerable. I was furious that Jenna had put me in such a predicament. I never spoke to her again. The moral of this terrifying story is simple, and it's the only reason I'm still here. Always trust your instincts. Your gut feelings are always right. I'm a teenager that lives in a lively coastal town in a small enough country. It's very popular among tourists during the summer, and becomes quiet during the other seasons. The main attraction of our town is the beach that's
Okay guys, the stream has reached 3 hours. I don't want to be a bad example by continuing. So, thank you so much for coming. Yes, bye-bye. And yeah, so good thing I was talking about how, I was talking about my own mistakes today. And yes, knowing is half the battle, right? So thank you and bye bye. Bye bye.